May I speak in the name of God, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Once I had to spend an extended time in hospital, unable to get up or do anything for myself. I still remember the great surprise I had on receiving my first all-over bed wash. The nurses were extremely kind and gentle. I've never forgotten a young doctor who, as he went about his task, told me he had spent his weekend painting his mother's ceiling. Now, whether this story was to lessen his embarrassment or mine, I still can't decide. But what I do know is how much it meant to me to feel clean and to feel myself again, all by the simple act of water and human touch. At first, I found this experience completely out of my comfort zone. Yet as time went by, not only did it enable me to rejoin the human race, it came to mean something more, a realization of my humility and a profound gratitude. I had to let myself be ministered to allow the nurses to wash me. It was a joint experience, an act of giving which brought us closer together, and my acceptance lifted me up. We all would rather serve than be served. Is it any wonder then that Peter drew back? Often it's pride that will not acknowledge our incompleteness, and our false humility that conceals our deep need of healing. We value our independence. None of us wants others doing anything for us, for in doing so, we become vulnerable. George Herbert's devotional poem has this line: "Love bade me welcome, but my soul drew back." It's about a guest in the poem who refuses to accept love's gift, being ready to serve, but refusing to be served. Perhaps what we, like Peter, recoil from is the level of exposure and intimacy and tenderness that Christ asks of us. But we cannot grow as Christians, grow into the likeness of Jesus' own life, without a willingness for intimacy. At the heart of our fear is the fear of our own helplessness and vulnerability. Yet moments of intimacy, like moments of grace, bring us closer together and transform us. Thinking back to my hospital times, in those close moments, I believe both myself and my nurses and doctors were lifted up and transformed. Christ offers what Rowan Williams calls the hospitality of truth, the searching exposure of ourselves as we see ourselves, both at our best and at our worst. All this we can see in the figure of the kneeling Christ as he washes our feet. It is only in daring to let Christ serve us that we can begin to change into his likeness. And only by receiving service from Jesus, have we the resources to give service ourselves? Jesus says, "Unless I wash you, you have no share with me." And it is letting Christ serve us. It is the precondition for our own life of service. In George Herbert's wonderful poem, a guest finds the perfect host. After a beautiful exchange, the guest finally accepts Christ's substitution and his own place at the table. However, the guest is still insisting on serving the meal to love. But God demands nothing. He continues as unconditional, one-way love, saying, "You must sit down and taste my meat." And we, like the guest, must say, "So I did sit and eat." In this Holy Week, the timing of the foot washing is especially significant, for in it we see an acted parable of service and self-offering, anticipating the once-for-all cleansing from sin and self that Christ made by his cross. In our Gospel reading, St. John chooses to focus on the incident as it happens during the Passover meal. This too is especially significant, for it interprets the Eucharist. For it is through the Eucharist that Christ serves us today. It is here where he is pledged to be, here where he gives himself to us. Christ himself present as host and victim, ready to serve us. It is when we have been washed and touched by Christ, then we can embrace the gospel. Then we can embrace people as we find them. And then we can embrace life as it is lived. I'd like to end with a little story. It's about a museum in heaven dedicated to Christ's life on earth, displaying the symbols of his ministry. There's the widow's mite. In a corner, the carpenter's tools, a crown of thorns, a sponge dipped in vinegar. After touring the display, a visitor asked the attendant, "Where is the bowl and the towel?" "Oh," he said, "they're always in use."